Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. 2.89% interest mortgage versus 2.89% halal mortgage. I can just hear so many people going like, 2.89% halal, but how can a percentage be a halal? I'll explain inshallah with numbers, unlike the previous videos that I've done, which are all like concepts, right? If this is your first time watching my content in regards to halal mortgages, watching my video Halal Mortgage 101 will be like a one-on-one conversation with me that I seem to get daily requests for, and I don't want to have those conversations with people because that's why I made the video. So please just watch that video because this is the basic foundation in regards to this topic of Islamic financing with respect to halal mortgages, because Islamic financing is huge. And watching the Diminishing Musharakah halal mortgage versus interest mortgage video will enable you easily able to tell if you're being fooled into a regular interest mortgage by those various companies that we seem to have in Canada who peddle the 8-page so-called Diminishing Musharakah mortgage product. So please, for the love of God, stop calling me after you commit to the real estate deal and after you rely on their financing to tell me, brother, I'm sorry, I got a fake halal mortgage. I don't know what to do with you. Let's just, put out this content with as many people as possible so we can stop getting these phone calls that I get on a daily basis with people saying that, oh, I got fooled into it. Now what do? I can't help you, bro. I just can't. So inshallah, please share the content to help as many Muslims as possible. All I ask is sincerely just this much, that you subscribe to the channel, that you like the video and comment on the video, pushing it out to the rest of YouTube. Because what's happening is that I'm starting to feel like YouTube is shadow banning my content. The last video that I released was like literally on an upwards trajectory. It was reaching 2,000 views very quickly and then suddenly flatlined. Like it's only getting 10 views at a time from external websites and whatnot. So please share this video as much as possible within your Facebook Muslim groups, your LinkedIn profiles, wherever you can to basically help as many people out there as possible to not be fooled into a regular interest mortgage. Jazakumullah khair. You talk to somebody in regards to halal mortgages and they go like, well, what's the difference? Fine. Everybody wants to know the difference between a halal mortgage and a regular interest mortgage. Great question. So in this example, I'm going to use numbers versus the conceptual videos that I've essentially made. Let's start with you buying a house. So from your point of view, when you're buying a home, you make a 20% down payment to purchase a, let's say, $1.2 million property. Yeah, you're rich. After you move into the house, there is a monthly payment. A part of that monthly payment goes towards the cost of you financing the house purchase, and the other part goes towards eventually releasing you from ever having the need to finance the home in like 20 or 25 years. If you sell the home before that 20 or 25 years time frame, usually what happens is that you keep the profits, paying off the remainder of the mortgage. So what's the difference between a halal mortgage and a regular interest mortgage? Well, a halal mortgage and a regular interest mortgage functionally and in practicality work and appear the same way from the outside. Not knowing the difference is exactly why most Muslims just purchase a home via an interest mortgage, disregarding the Quran and the literal hell they're purchasing for themselves while trying to become homeowners. Or many essentially get fooled into a regular interest mortgage when seeking a real halal home financing option for them and their families because they are so down and deep into the process of purchasing when they can no longer back out that they just have to rely on utter hope that, you know what, I hope this process is halal even though I'm signing documents which are staring at me in the face saying interest. Let's use an interest mortgage example first, so most of you find it easier to make that comparison because that's what you guys are used to. Now, a disclaimer, a traditional interest mortgage has a semi-annually, not in advance compounding interest formula, meaning that the entire loan of the balance that you owe compounds every 6 months. Now, I have removed that for this example because I need to make the profit adjustment easier when comparing to a halal mortgage in terms of numbers. Because, well, number one, I suck at maths. And number two, there is no compounding interest in the diminishing musharakah and murabaha halal mortgage processes that you're most likely going to encounter out there in the market. O believers, fear Allah and give up outstanding interest if you are true believers. O believers, do not consume interest, multiplying it many times over. And be mindful of Allah so you may prosper. So let's say home price is $1.2 million. Your down payment is $240,000, being 20%. Lender profit rate or interest rate in this example is 2.89%, uncles. I hope you're paying attention and your ears are burning right now. The term is 5 years. Amortization is 25 years, equaling $4,489 a month in terms of monthly payment, or roughly $2,220 in principal payments and $2,269 a month in profit or cost of financing for you in the first year. So here is what's happening in this interest mortgage example from a monetary and contractual point of view, starting with the money. You're buying the home. paying $240,000, being 20% of the home value, using your own cash from your bank account from your own resources. The bank is giving you a loan of $960,000, being 80% of the home value, which is money you need to purchase the property with. The payments of the financed amount of $960,000 is spread out over 300 months or 25 years on a 5-year fixed or variable rate of profit at 2.89%, being interest profit for lending you the money, which means that for the 5-year term out of the 25 years, the bank will charge you 2.89% interest profit, totaling $128,164 in interest profit payments to the bank you pay for holding your mortgage loan for the 5-year term. So here's a summary of an interest mortgage. The bank is giving you a loan for the purpose of you buying the house. You own the property. You're responsible for all taxes, maintenance, and insurance costs. You're also responsible for all the losses associated with the property and any losses the bank may suffer on the loan they gave you. The bank is making money on a term basis on the full loan. They secure their money they loaned you against your property, being the securitization, turning this entire loan arrangement in literal terms an optional decreasing securitized loan arrangement. So if you ever stop paying your monthly payment, you would have broken your end of the agreement and they'll just sell your house and recover their money. So this was an interest mortgage example. Now here's what's halal and haram about this traditional interest mortgage. The loan is halal as referenced from the Quran. The securitization of the bank's loan to you against the property is also halal as referenced from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The profit being made on the loan becoming riba / interest is haram because, well, that's a reference from the Quran. That's it. So simple, right? Now let's cover the diminishing musharakah. Now the same home purchase price scenario when applied to a diminishing musharakah halal mortgage. Inshallah, I'll get around to doing one from Rabah as well, but hopefully this gives you a very straightforward idea, inshallah. Home price, $1.2 million. Down payment, $240,000, being 20%. Lender profit rate, 2.89%, which was also interest in the previous example. But this one's going to be straight up profit rate because this profit will be made on the shares of the property, right? But I'll explain that inshallah and further down the video. So just stay tuned. Did you smash the like button? Please smash the like button. We need you to smash the like button. So the lender profit rate is 2.89%. Term is 5 years. Amortization is 25 years, equaling $4,489 a month, or roughly $2,220 in principal and $2,269 a month in profit or cost of financing for you in the first year. Let's compare and start with the money example first. A partnership is created between you and the Islamic bank. You both contribute money to the partnership. You contribute $240,000, being 20%, and the Islamic bank contributes $960,000, being 80% of the property's value. Thus, the partnership, not you, not the Islamic bank alone, the partnership of the both of you purchases the property of $1.2 million and secures the partnership's total investment of the partners against the home. This is a real partnership which shares in the risk of losses proportionate to the partnership shares. Once again, if the partnership suffers any losses, those losses will be divided between you, the 20% shareholder, and the 80% shareholder being the Islamic bank. If no losses are being shared, that's not a partnership, it's a loan. So is your halal so-called diminishing musharakah sharing in the partnership? It's a question you might want to write down and keep to yourself. Second, you and the Islamic bank enter into a separate contractual agreement where you, the customer, agree to buy out the Islamic bank's partnership shares over time, thus turning this entire arrangement into a diminishing partnership or decreasing partnership. So it's pretty simple. So now we're on contract number 2. Let's go to contract number 3. So now we're at the money aspect of this arrangement. Third, it's important to understand that the Islamic bank can make their profit by either selling you their partnership shares at a higher price, making their money on the markup, or charging you rent on the same shares under an ijara/rental agreement. To ensure Sharia compliance, a lot of Islamic financial institutions will separate the payments of rent and share buyout by taking the payments on different days. So literally, they'll go like, you know what? For share buyout, we're gonna take it on the 10th of the month. And for the rental payment, we're gonna take it on the 15th of the month. Let's compare the numbers now. The total monthly payment of $4,489 has 2 parts. A, the share buyout portion paid by you to the Islamic bank under the second agreement being $2,220 worth of partnership shares being purchased. So in the interest mortgage example, that's principal payment of decreasing the loan amount that you owe. In this case, you are purchasing the shares of the partnership, not even the property in this case. And B, the rent payment paid under the rental agreement being $2,269 being charged as a rental amount for the partnership shares you don't own yet. The difference in regards to halal or haram is not the amount of money made or paid. That is not what determines halal or haram in this entire process. The difference is the risk of losses or losses shared and how profit is made for the Islamic bank or costs paid by you. Listen to this hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in regards to riba. Once Bilal brought Barney a kind of dates to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet asked him, "From where have you brought these?" Bilal replied, "I had some inferior types of dates and exchanged 2 sa'as of it for 1 sa'a of Barney dates in order to give it to the Prophet to eat." Thereupon the Prophet ﷺ said, "Beware, beware. This is definitely riba, usury. This is definitely riba. Do not do so, but if you want to buy a superior kind of dates, sell the inferior dates for money and then buy the superior kind of dates with that money." Now look at the difference in contract structures between the interest and diminishing musharakah halal mortgages. Let's compare the two, make them go head to head with each other. You've heard me say that 3 separate and unconditional contractual agreements are compiled into one financial product by the Islamic financial institutions and are used in a way to copy or imitate the haram interest mortgages in terms of functionality and practical use. Now, here is the literal outside form functionality versus the actual substance comparison between your traditional interest mortgage and the diminishing musharakah halal mortgage. And honestly, if I've lost your attention by this point, take a break and restart the video. 1. To copy the function of a loan in an interest mortgage where you, the borrower, takes all the risk of losses, protecting the bank/lender against any losses, we, the Muslims, enter into an actual partnership contractual agreement where each partner takes on the risk of losses according to their own respective partnership shares. 2. To copy the function of the principal payment in an interest mortgage where the borrower pays off their home loan amount to the bank/lender, recovering the bank's initial investment, we Muslims will fulfill our promise to buy out the shares of the Islamic bank in the partnership we entered into. And number 3, to copy the function of the interest profit for the bank/lender or cost of financing to the borrower in an interest mortgage, we Muslims pay the cost of financing or profit of the Islamic bank in either the form of renting the shares of the partnership that we don't own yet under the rental contract. Rental meaning ijara, real ijara, not fake ijara. Watch my video, fake halal mortgage, the ijara scam. Or we pay more money to buy out the shares of the Islamic bank when purchasing them under that buyout contractual agreement. Both processes use securitization to secure the money invested against the property, turning this into a decreasing securitized partnership or loan arrangement. So if you ever stop paying your monthly payment, you would have broken your end of the agreement and they'll sell your house to recover their money. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 283. If you are on a journey and a scribe cannot be found, then a security can be taken. If you trust one another, then there is no need for a security, but the debtor should honor this trust by repaying the debt. And let them fear Allah, their Lord, and do not conceal the testimony, for whoever conceals it, their hearts are indeed sinful, and Allah fully knows what you do. A few points to remember: that profit sharing can be equal or unequal to whatever you, the buyer, in the Islamic bank agreed to. However, the losses and expenses must be shared according to the partnership share percentage. It is prohibited to impose such costs on one partner, like the Islamic bank imposing that the buyer must accept paying the expense of the property. Principally, the expense of taxes, maintenance, and insurance of the property shall be shared among the partners in proportion to their ownership ratio of the partnership. However, if a partner like you voluntarily agree to pay the total costs of the expenses of taxes, maintenance, and insurance in exchange for residing in the property, this is permissible and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Recently, I had a conversation with a brother, and honestly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the brother because he does a lot for the community. But it occurred to me to basically point something out in this video. I believe that if somebody is offering you a diminishing musharakah and they're saying that, you know what, we're gonna take a 10% or 20% share of the profit, it can be based on whatever you guys agree to. But there's also a principle of what is currently happening in the market if something is a bad deal. So I'm gonna give my personal opinion on this. I would not accept a diminishing musharakah deal if I had to share in the profit with the lender. Yes, we will be sharing in the losses proportionate to our, respective shares in the partnership. And I'm gonna go ahead and pay my taxes, maintenance, and insurance, not a problem. But I just wanna say that, in my opinion, I would not. Now, if I had no other option whatsoever and the diminishing musharakah is halal, and you know what, the community does have a need and I must purchase a property, then of course, as a last resort, if my wife is nagging me and I have to purchase a house and I have no other way out, then yeah, of course, it's way better to enter into diminishing musharakah where I have to share in the profit by whatever we agree to. In my opinion, it's still a straight up bad deal. So I guess it depends on scenario to scenario, but I felt like it's important for me to state my opinion here. So let's compare the diminishing musharakah halal mortgage to the test of the Quran and Sunnah, just like we did to the interest mortgage. So what is halal and haram about the diminishing musharakah? Ooh, could there be something haram about it? Well, let's see. The concept of partnership is halal in Islam as referenced by, I don't know, I'm not a scholar, and honestly, there's only so much research I can go ahead and do. Contact Mufti Mirza Zain Beg. Yeah, seriously. He's a good Mufti. Mufti Mirza Zain Beg. Yeah, call him. Hey everybody from the editing room over here. So I'm going to read the Sharia basis of the standard and the permissibility of partnership. So you guys can go ahead and pause the video over here and read the whole document. If not, you guys can find this page in IOFI. So over here, I'm just going to read the Quranic ayah, but there's a hadith as well that basically supports the permissibility of partnership. Over here, and verily, many partners oppress one another except those who believe and do righteous good deeds, and they are few. The securitization of the partnership investment against the property is halal as referenced from the Sahih Hadith. Narrated Aisha radiallahu anha, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam bought some foodstuff, barley, from a Jew on credit and mortgaged his iron armor to him. The armor stands for a guarantor. Reference Sahih al-Bukhari. The profit being made on the trade of money for partnership shares is halal trade as referenced from the Quran. The three contracts are compiled into one financial product by the Islamic financial institutions globally and are used in a way to imitate and copy the functionality of the conventional haram interest mortgage. And that's why you all get fooled. Is your diminishing musharakah halal mortgage a proper one or just an 8-page contract you got scammed by? Please be vigilant of that. The diminishing musharakah halal mortgage financial product performs the same functionality as an interest mortgage, but is fundamentally different in terms of shared losses and basis of profit without compounding interest. So if anyone tells you that it's the exact same thing as being like the non-Muslim referred to in this ayah of the Quran. Surah Al-Baqarah number 275, those who consume interest cannot stand on the day of resurrection except as one stands who is being beaten by Satan into insanity. That is because they say trade is just like interest. But Allah has permitted trade and has forbidden interest. So whoever has received an admonition from his Lord and desists may have what is past, and his affair rests with Allah. But whoever returns to dealing with interest or usury, those are the companions of the fire. They will abide eternally therein. Please share this video. That is all I ask. So it may be helpful to as many Muslims out there. Like the video, comment on the video, because I really need to know that I'm not shadow banned. And share this video to as many of the Muslim Facebook groups as possible. I would appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, spread the word. May Allah Azza wa Jal reward you all, inshallah. Until the next one, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.